Welcome to an episode of the Myrrh-Bearing Millennial Podcast. I'm your host, Jill, and as a full-time homemaker, homesteader, and homeschooling stay-at-home mom, I'm on a mission to help moms find joy and fulfillment in their marriage, motherhood, and business, all while growing deeper in their Christian faith. Each week, we'll discuss relevant topics that I pray will help you strengthen your marriage, gain confidence as a mom, grow a profit to support your family from home, and bring you closer to Christ. As someone who endured childhood trauma, abusive relationships, and has learned the hard way that feminism has been harming women and weakening the family unit more than it's been doing good, I'm here to share with you what's possible, to show you the power that God intended for women, and to help you harness the beauty, grace, and entrepreneurial mind that is the Proverbs 31 woman we all strive to be. So let's get into today's episode. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Myrrh-Bearing Millennial Podcast. I'm your host, Jill, and I'm really excited. I have a dear friend with me for today's interview. Her name is Megan, and I've known her for a little while, but it's actually funny because she kind of grew up with my husband more than anything. But we live in the same local community, and she has been an inspiration to me, and I know so many others around here within our homeschooling journeys. And so I'm really excited to have her here today to talk about all things homeschooling big families, her journey of homeschooling, and any tips and stuff that she might have. So without further ado, Megan, welcome. Tell us all about yourself.
Good morning. My name is Megan. I am a homeschooling mom. I have 5 children, but my oldest just turned 8, so they're young. I have 5, almost 7, 5, 2, and 1. So I'm really only homeschooling my oldest 2, and this is really only my second year, like claiming a child with the state. So I'm still a newbie, learning alongside everyone else. I'm also a local Wild and Free leader. I lead our local group, and we've had so much fun there, which I think is a big reason why Jill had me on today.
It is. I mean, Wild and Free has truly kind of changed my family's lives. It's something that we've been loving. We've been in it now with you we've been home for 2 years, almost 2 years. And then reading the book, Wild and Free, was truly RJ and I always wanted to homeschool, but that solidified that choice. So what inspired you to start homeschooling, and how has your perspective on education kind of evolved over time?
Yeah. So my husband was homeschooled for just a couple years to bring home so that he could focus on reading a little bit more. And so it was always in the back of my mind that was an option, but it wasn't a big concern of mine. And then 2020 hit and COVID, and my youngest, it was time for preschool, and everybody was saying, "Are you sending him to preschool?" And I was like, I don't know. Not with masks and all this going on. Let's keep him home. That felt best to me. And then I saw a friend was doing a homeschool preschool, and I asked her about it, and she gave me a little bit of information, and then a couple days later sent me a message like, "Hey, I left a package on your porch," and it was the Wild and Free book. So I took the kids outside. They played. It was springtime, probably like this. It's March right now, it's April now. Kind of rainy, but we were outside, and I just sat on a log and I read through that book. I read out loud to them. I can remember because she talks about reading out loud, and yeah, I was taken. It spoke to my heart so much. And from then on, I just thought, I can do this. Yes, this is what I see for my family. And I loved it. So
see, for how long I've known you, I did not know that story. And I think that's beautiful. I love that. Okay, well, you have 5 children, and I know you're homeschooling at least 2 of them. What does a typical day look like in your home with 5 children?
Yeah. So I think I'm one extreme. We literally do not have the same day any day. I am very much at peace right now that my life is a little chaotic with my kids' ages, and structure is not my strong suit. So we try to get school in every day, but we do year-round schooling because I know there's weeks where we were outside too much, or we ended up hanging out with our uncle because he was off work that week, or life happens, and I love that. That's why I homeschool. So first of all, we do year round to help with that. Second of all, we would maybe plan, that's kind of my plan, that after breakfast we'll get school started, but then a toddler wants to help make breakfast, and then my 8-year-old decides he wants to help wash the dishes, and then the baby's extra clingy that morning. And so maybe we got to it. Maybe it didn't happen till nap time. I've been like ready for bed and been like, bring your math book. We're going to do that real quick. So I literally do not have a day that looks the same. I yearn for that someday where we have a regiment, but we're not there yet. So.
No, there's so many people. I feel like there's such a wave within the homeschooling community to do more of like an unschooling and really just setting your own pace. That's one of the main points of it, right? And the flexibility it's incredible. It's not something that you can fully understand until you're in that realm. Even like and even, how do I want to word this? I don't even think it's something you can fully understand until you need the flexibility too. Like, um, when we started homeschooling, it was cool and we got to kind of just plan our days however we wanted to do them and so forth. But it wasn't until losing my brother and like going through such a drastic grief-filled time that I was like, wait, this is actually working because RJ can homeschool whenever he's home with them. Our days kind of pivot a lot and stuff and still staying on top. Like the flexibility is just such an experience type of thing within the homeschooling community that I know I'm personally like so thankful for within that. Now about Wild and Free though, because this is, our favorite deep love within homeschooling. What led you to start our Wild and Free community? Which, by the way, guys, don't let her like fool you. She's not like she has started arguably one of the best mom communities on this side of the state. I'm not kidding. Our group is incredible. We just had our first like mom's retreat. It's amazing. So, what led you to start this?
It is really a fulfilling group for sure. So as I talked to you, my youngest was getting ready for preschool, and we lost some of our play friends that we'd meet up at playgrounds with. Maybe they were work friends for myself. I work just casual, a couple days a week once I started having children as a nurse. So they could have been work friends. They could have been like friends of mine from the community. They started heading to preschool. So we lost a couple, then kindergarten rolled around. We lost a lot more. And pretty soon we were at the playground by ourselves. And so I really sought out some communities. At this time, my oldest was probably like 4. And so therefore he wasn't actually like, you have to be 6 before September, something like that, to be claimed by the state and in Pennsylvania. And he wasn't yet. And that's a prerequisite for a lot of groups. So we reached out to a couple of the groups that were at least 45 minutes away, were the closest. And they weren't accepting new members. So I did try one group that was over an hour away, and they were so kind. I loved them. To this day, I'm still very good friends with all of them. And the leader, it just spoke to me, the way she ran her group and how casual it was, how welcome I felt the very first time I came. And I was hooked. But I knew I wanted a community closer to home where I could meet up at the playground or randomly have someone over for dinner, which is how our group was formed. So.
It's crazy to me because like I feel like we live in a small town, like, and our area is a small. It's weird. I always said that like our area was kind of like the alien part because like you have like the big Butler County and stuff, and then you have to like kind of find your way over to our community. But how many moms do we have in our group? 40?
We have almost 50, like 45, which is wild to me. Some groups struggle with enrollment. Now, I'm not very strict. I have a loose rule where I ask people to attend at least once a month. And because truly, I see this more as a community than a homeschooling group. I mean, yes, it's for homeschooling families, but it's a community and you get what you put into it. The more you show up, the more you're connected to the community, the more, you get more, the more you come. And so I really ask moms to come once a month. And if it's been a couple months, I'll check in. I just did a check-in with a few moms. And one got back to me, said like, oh, I just had that new baby and I'll be back as soon as I'm recovered type thing. And which is totally fine. There's grace in all periods. I know you and I had talked, during the difficult times that you had with your brother and such. And we're always here for you, but you get what you give to the community, which is so great.
And it was like stepping away from On Free for a little bit while we were in that transitional period was really hard. And I could tell the effect that it had on my kids too, because they really missed that. And just
Mhm.
coming back these last couple months has been so just warming to the soul and it has been amazing. But to kind of paint a picture for anyone who is not part of a Wild and Free community or not in ours, um, anytime, so I am the director of our local classical conversations group, and most of the moms in our CC group have joined Wild and Free. But I kind of
Mhm.
have to like paint the picture for them because they are two vastly different communities. CC is very structured, very like type A in the homeschooling world. We have a set schedule. Everything's kind of rigid within itself. And I kind of warn them, I'm like, listen, there are like 40 to 50 moms at Wild and Free. It is not structured. Okay. So if there's 40 to 50 moms, expect almost double the kids. And like when we show up, usually they're park play dates and stuff. And they just run. Like they're wild. There's no real structure. Sometimes if we have like we did that field trip to the toy store and stuff, like that's a little more like
Yeah.
confined and everything. But it's a different beast with Wild and Free. And so many of the moms in CC were like, okay, I have to get used to this for a minute, especially because they're so new to homeschooling. They're expecting this to be like a public school structured thing.
Mhm.
And you show up to Wild and Free and it's just like kids everywhere trying to find them on hiking trails and stuff. And it's amazing. And I love every single second of it. But how has being part of this community impacted your personal homeschool experience with your family?
The number one thing is longevity. I could see myself doing this for a little while before I had the community. I can see myself doing this long term. Well, I said I have grace for myself. If tomorrow I woke up and I decided this was not the right thing for us, that's totally fine. So with me. But I don't see that happening, especially now that I have this community. The support for the hard times when I am in a difficult time in life or in homeschooling or in like motherhood, I know I have the community. I can bounce off my sounding board and know how to navigate those situations a little bit better. So I appreciate that. And it just gives me confidence. I have always felt a little amiss, like the black sheep a little bit. I always had these big ideas and they didn't quite fit in with everyone else. And I like all of these like-minded moms just kind of came together and yeah, it's given me such confidence that my ideas are not crazy and trying something new is scary but fun and it can be so rewarding. So those are the three major things.
I love that so much. And you're right. Like they really did like kind of just sort. And that's where I think it's funny because with how small like area is, I guess, to
Mhm.
have 40 to 50 moms. I told RJ, I said, um, finding mom like friends as a mom is hard enough because you're trying to align
Mhm.
like your kids and all these different things to find that many like-minded moms where we can get 12 of us together for a mom's retreat and we're literally all bonding over the same values and how we want to homeschool and all these
Mhm.
things is wild and
Mhm.
such a blessing from God in that way. Like it's awesome. Also, thank you so much for the longevity and saying that like you could see yourself doing this for a while because I'm gonna need this through graduation with all of my kids. But
Every once in a
what
while, I break down crying, thinking about like, oh, how I'm gonna plan their graduation, and my husband's like, "Whoa, chill. Well, we're let's get through first grade first." So,
right. Well, I can't believe we're already even like actually starting first grade. And I
mhm.
told her, I'm like, it's gonna come soon. And then we had one of the PA state evaluators come to talk with our CC community. And she was giving us a lot of insight in the credits off of Pennsylvania. She was like, I graduate 15-year-olds. And I'm like, wait, that means graduation could be so much sooner. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Because like she's fine, it's in 10 years, but okay, what advice would you give to moms who feel isolated and want to build or join a supportive homeschool community?
Well, if you want to build a homeschool community, first of all, just search it out, ask questions. There's so many times I see moms on the Facebook boards saying, I'm thinking about homeschooling. Does anyone have any connections? And most homeschool moms love to talk about homeschooling. And I like it. So they will come to you and they will tell you everything they know. But you know, if nothing works out, just try it, just start it. Wild and Free made it so easy, which is why I started a Wild and Free group. I mean, I was so connected to the core values, but You just go on their website, you click, I want to become a leader. I did reach out to them, and it used to be you can sign up anytime. Now they will be opening in a few months, it sounds like. So you can sign up, and they'll email you when they're opening for new leaders. But it's so easy to start a community. Yeah, so it's easy. Just try it, and people will come, because there are other people just like you who are looking for a community. So
Yeah, there really are, and they come from all walks of life and stuff. We have a few moms that live kind of further out from our community as
Mhm.
well, which is really cool to have them be a part of that. Did I tell you about the comment I got on my Facebook reel? Someone wanted to join our Wild and Free. They commented. I made the reel about whenever we went to the park near Gibsonia, and
Okay.
they commented, they were like, "Where are you located? I've been looking for something like this." And they commented the name of their county. Don't ask me what this word, I could not pronounce this word to save my life. And I'm like, "Where is that?" "We're just slightly north of Pittsburgh." And she goes, "Oh, I'm in Dallas, Texas." Like, you're a little far. But
I
I
love
like
it.
directed her to the website to find, because I'm
Yeah.
sure there are some in Texas. Um, but it
Yeah,
was
Wow
great.
has like a map, and you can find local communities, and you can see like, oh, there's not any in my community. I can find one, or I can make one. So it's very easy.
Yeah, it was crazy to me because I had a couple people who did that, and I'm like, yeah, we're pretty local, but go on the website and you'll be able to find it.
That is so funny.
You had talked about the support within our community too, like within the moms, knowing that
Mhm.
I do want to make a comment to anyone starting a homeschool group and stuff. Megan has done a really good job, not just only in the support within homeschooling, but for the moms within our app that we like run all of our stuff in. That we have a separate chat just for prayers, where if mamas need prayer requests and stuff, like they can go in there and do it. We have our own mom's book club, which is awesome. We also have a mom in our group who organizes all of the meal trains. So anytime
Mhm.
one of our moms has a baby, or we have a death in the family, whatever it is, whatever season of life, we have a mom who's organizing meal trains all the time, and she's amazing. She'll bring you like enough food to feed an army, plus the best flan in the world. But like it's just really cool. And those I feel like are some key components to make sure to add in when starting a group. Maybe not do it right away because like everyone's kind of getting
Mhm.
a feel for each other. But it has definitely been so beneficial for us. And you were right whenever you say like moms like talking about homeschooling. It's one of those things, we joked about this at the retreat, where it's like when you're talking to someone new and you kind of run through all of the normal questions in your head, and then you tiptoe into the fun stuff and you're like, "Do you homeschool? All right, let's talk about this for the next like 3 hours."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but how do you encourage moms who are struggling with self-doubt in their homeschooling journey?
Yeah, so I say, like, acknowledge this is hard. I mean, I told you at the very beginning, I acknowledge that I am likely in a very difficult phase. A lot of my kids can't do things for themselves. I only have one reader who just is like able to read independently. So I acknowledge that hard. I recognize these are hard times, or, of course they're beautiful times as well. But this is hard. Being a mom is hard. Homeschooling is hard. So just recognize that first of all, and then just remember, like, God built you for this. He designed you for this, and He's not going to give you more than you can handle. And better than that, you get to grow through this. And I think that's so beautiful. I can handle five because I learned to grow to handle four children. I learned to grow. I could have never fathomed handling five children when I only had one.
Yeah.
So the growth is also beautiful too, through the hard. So.
I love that. I know we've talked a lot about like those types of balances, and that a lot of the balance comes back to staying grounded within like your own values within your family and your life. So like what are some of your core homeschooling values, and like how do they shape your approach then?
Okay. So first of all, whole person approach. I am not raising a little reader or a little mathematician. I am raising future husbands, wives, future mothers and fathers, homeowners, businessmen and women. Um, maybe doctors. I don't know what I'm raising up yet, but they're certainly not a little reader or a little language arts master. So I look at the whole person. Um, we of course have welcomed quite a few babies over the last couple of years. My two daughters are only a year apart, so the last couple of years, and I just welcomed that. We slowed down. The kids helped with the baby. They saw me nursing the baby. They saw me holding the baby, patting the baby when she's crying, and that was such a learning experience for them in its own. And they get to see those special things. So another one is another value of mine is real life moments. Going to the grocery store. My kids, they love going to the grocery store. They have their regular store clerks that they meet up with and chat with, and the butcher shop. I mean, our local butcher shop is our number one field trip weekly. And they go in the back, they get to see the cows hanging, they review the body parts that we talked about. And yeah, so those real life moments are so special and so amazing. And I think they're learning so much in those times. So those are values for me, just to encompass real life learning and like the whole person. Interest based as well. I want my kids to do things that they're interested in, because I want them to be excited to pursue interest throughout their life, not just to go to work, come home, scroll their phone, go to bed. No, I want them to have interests and to know what they enjoy doing. So we do a lot of interest-based learning as well.
I love that so much. And each of your children, I mean, everyone's children has like such unique like personalities and stuff, but your children especially, I love watching because like the few times a month that I see them, it's so clear. They're very like unique personalities and likes and stuff to them. Your boys always crack me up for sure. But like, so how, I know you talked about not being super structured.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance though structure with the freedom? Like, is there any form of, do you have like a weekly schedule that you kind of go around or anything?
Well, Thursdays is our homeschool wild and free day. We don't meet every Thursday, but we meet most Thursdays.
Yeah.
And Tuesdays, I still work as a nurse one day a week. So Tuesdays are my work day. But I still try to get school in on those days, usually not on the weekends, but there's an occasional time when we do school on the weekend. Trying to think if there's any other thing to really say about structure for me. We really structure our life around the meals that nourish our bodies. I get to be home and I get to make 3 meals a day. And then we get to be outside and playing. So those are really, especially with my kids being so young, those are very core to who we are as a family. Yeah. But I kind of went about the structure question. Oh, how do you balance structure with freedom? I love that question because everyone has a bad day. I have a bad day. You have a bad day. Some days we pick up school and my kids fly through it and they're like, oh, Mom, that was awesome. I'm out. I'm going outside again. Other days they are, like I can't get through it. And I have to know them well enough to, I either say, hey, this is hard. You can do hard things. We're going to push through and we're going to learn today. Or I say, hey, I see you're struggling. Looks like you need a break. Let's go outside. And so that for me is the best part about this.
I have to remind myself, like, that's how I feel. Like one day a month or so, Gemma will just check out and she like just wants to veg out on the couch or something. I'm like, girl, I get it. Like there are days whenever I feel like this or I just don't want to do my work and I like, let's just go spend the day outside. So I totally just get that. And I also want to point out, this has nothing to do with homeschooling, but I really love how you said this. Most moms, when they talk about like being home with their kids and stuff, they'll say like, I have to cook 3 meals a day. And you said, I get to cook 3 meals a day. And I think that is just phenomenal. It's such a positive mindset shift to being able to do that because you are the one who gets to like nourish your children and you get to provide those meals that will make them strong and everything. And so I just wanted to compliment that. I loved that you said that. All right, what are some of your favorite homeschool resources or curriculum recommendations? This is where I feel like I can talk for hours.
Yeah, you are a curriculum junkie, I know.
Yeah.
So resources, we are super lucky in our area, not too far away, less than an hour. We have an amazing bookstore that is a homeschool resource center called Bookends. It's in Grove City. So if you are local to Western Pennsylvania and can make the trip, they are wonderful. They will sit down with you and they will talk about your child's learning style. Maybe you have a curriculum, but it's just not quite working, or you're trying to decide which curriculum you're going to jump to next. They are a huge blessing to our community. And even though some of my books, I know, like I have some workbooks I do, I know my kids are ready to just move on to the next one. And it would be so easy to click, purchase on Amazon. And I make sure I make the trip up and I'll buy, the next few from them just to make sure that they're staying in business so that they can support us as homeschooling moms. And other than that, I watch YouTube reviews a lot for a curriculum. And then we do a curriculum day with our homeschool group. It's very casual. Every mom brings like a basket or a bag of curriculum they have, maybe stuff that they love, maybe stuff that they don't love. And we get to dig through it. We get to ask them questions like, what did you like about this? I've been looking at this, but I've been wanted to hold it in my hands. And so that is really wonderful to see what other moms like. I mean, I think my fellow moms' opinions are so much more important to me. So I like that.
Agreed. And our curriculum day is coming up in a couple months. And I'm a curriculum junkie. I mean, anyone who's like listened to anything that I put online knows that I bounce. And here we are testing another curriculum this coming year. But like, I think I have 4 different curriculums to bring this year, just of my own without even
Mhm.
contacting companies. Um, but you have to find what works for your kids,
Mhm.
ultimately. And like I love some moms' approach though. Like I know we have a few moms in Modern Free who do this. They don't have a curriculum at all. They just
Yeah.
like find books at the library and do and like I love that. For me, I'm a little more type A and like need the structure. Like I need something. Well, it's not even I don't even know that it's necessarily a structure. It's more of like I don't it's probably more of a lack in confidence than anything. Like I don't know. I need something to like show me that I'm teaching my kid everything that she needs to learn, basically.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, our curriculum day is my favorite. In the bookstore that you even mentioned, I really love that they have a lot of like Christian homeschooling resources as well,
Mhm.
and books and stuff. I've loved. We need to do another Mom's Morning Out where we go to that bookstore again
Yeah,
because
we really should.
yeah, and I'll be sure to link the website for that bookstore in the show notes as well. So anyone who's local, they can go check that out. Okay. I know we talked about this question the other day, and so I'm like excited to basically hear your voice message again. How do you adapt your homeschool approach to meet the different needs of each of your children?
To be clear, I told Jill I did not want to answer this question because I couldn't even start. I am literally always adapting. There's never not a moment I'm not adapting, especially like my children are um, we're very high energy. We're very high personality. And so there's a lot of personalities going on that we're adjusting to. And I think I really answered it earlier. You have to go with the flow when the 8-year-old wants to learn how to wash the dishes. I guess right now is the best time, and schoolwork will wait until this afternoon. Or, when you sit down to do school and the baby will not stop crying and ripping your books off the table, then we'll table this for a little bit later. Or maybe we're all outside playing and I see like a lull and I call them all in and I'll read to them out loud or something like that. I just feel like yeah, I'm just always adapting to whatever works in the moment. And yeah, so it's a struggle to not have such a schedule, but it's also such a learning. It's a learning curve. It's a blessing. I get to learn my kids a little bit more each day, so that's great.
So to be fair, when she first said that she didn't want to answer this question, she sent me a voice message answering the question, and I was like, "This is literally perfect. Like, we need to hear this." And I'm just starting to barely touch into what this will look like for our family,
Mhm.
because truly, I thought Henry was going to be very. Gemma is very bookwork oriented. She's exactly like me.
Mhm.
She likes doing written work. In fact, she was just asking me yesterday, she said, Mom, can we do school again tomorrow? Um, so she very much likes that. And I thought Henry was going to be much more like shoulder to shoulder experience, not wanting to sit down, that kind of learning style, which was I knew was going to be like an adjustment for me to learn. Um, but he's actually surprising me. I mean, he's only 3, and we have like the little books that you can get from Walmart and stuff that are like the
Mhm.
preschooling numbers and stuff like that. And whenever I pull out bookwork for Gemma, he's like, "Mommy, I do school. Mommy, I do school." And he pulls out the book and he wants like he actually does the mazes and like matches stuff together and everything. And I'm like, "Wait, are you actually going to do bookwork?" All right, so it's interesting. Like I'm just barely touching into that. I mean, I'm not doing anything structured with him whatsoever. He'll do it for like 5 minutes, and he's like, "Bye, I'm doing Megan Tiles now." Um, but I think the ability to adapt, to be flexible, is a strength and borderline almost like a necessity coming into it. And it might be something people have to learn, but like it's so vital because your children's personalities are like so different in how they learn.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure, it's a difference having like one child and then a baby. You know, when you started with Gemma, Henry was a baby. So you can have him on your hip and work with Gemma. It's very different than having one older child that you're trying to teach to read and you have 3 younger ones jumping all over the place. So I think different and then you have my oldest are boys and my girls are the youngest. And I already see like my oldest was spelling and my daughter jumped in and she started spelling. I'm like, you don't even know your letters yet. You're 2. But she like jumped in and started spelling. So I think that it's like falling into what is going on before you type thing. I don't know if that makes sense, but
And I love seeing how much it does affect the younger ones. Uh,
Mhm.
like with Josie especially, I purposely plan that like usually we do our homeschool when she's napping because it's just easier that way.
Yeah, it
But
is.
Henry, I mean, he just turned 3 and he's been singing the entire alphabet since at least like 6 months now. And I don't
Mhm.
remember Gemma starting that early, like singing. So it's just funny to me seeing like how much he is learning. And then in CC for foundations, everything is all song based anyways. So he'll randomly be singing songs about geography. And I'm like, I know he has no idea what he's talking about, but like he's learning where the Caspian Sea is. And that's like, that's so cool to me. So it's fun seeing, even though you do have to adapt, it is really fun seeing how it affects the younger ones and like what
Mhm.
they do pick up and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, now on to you personally. Homeschooling 5 children I can just imagine is not easy. How do you avoid burnout and like make time for yourself?
Well, that's something I'm always working on. I think that mothers' natural heart is to be a servant to their family. Um, And so I kind of have to be cautious about avoiding burnout. First thing is low expectations. When I was first a mom, I feel like I was influenced by social media that like, oh, I needed to get my Saturday mornings out. I wanted to go coffee run without the baby and I wanted my husband to keep them. And I had way different expectations. And then when I didn't get the time that I requested, I was upset. And so I learned to lower my expectations. Now, whenever I get time alone or even like one-on-one time with a kid feels like such self-care to me. Gosh, I just am so thankful for that time. And because I've totally changed my expectations, I've yeah, just evolved in that way. I spent I started thinking about what actually brings me joy. Um, like I know my mom and my grandma, they love shopping. Like that brings them so much joy. And although it does bring me joy, it's not like my number one. There are so many other. I love sewing. I love taking a walk by myself outside. So taking some time to actually think, like make some notes and like, hey, this actually did make me happy when I did it. I felt revitalized and renewed after I did this.
Yeah.
And then my last thought was just our group. I get to have discussions with real moms. We do moms night outs occasionally, a couple times, like every couple months we do. We just had our mom's retreat, which was a big dream of mine to do, to have a weekend of rest, discussion, laughing with moms in a similar like time in motherhood with me was super important to me. So yeah, but I'm always seeking out ways to do that more.
That retreat was amazing. I've been like on a high from it ever since. But I think it brings me back to one of the conversations we had at the retreat. So when Michaela and I had planned this retreat, we had planned for a spa night on this Saturday night. And all of the moms, like, I thought we were all on board because we're all communicating through an app and we're like,
They
there's
all signed up. They were like, face mask. Oh, I'll bring nail polish. And
right. And like we're all
I
like,
was like,
okay, this is what we'll bring this. And then it turns out when we all get there, we're all feeling really awkward about the spa night. Like none of us actually do any of this at all.
mm-mm. I was feeling self-conscious. I was like, I said to my husband, like, these other moms are like going up to their rooms and doing face masks and hand masks and painting their nails. I think I need to take an extra bath.
Meanwhile, Kate's like, I only have all this extra spa stuff because my mom just sends it to me. Like she doesn't use. So we just
Yeah.
happen to have these items.
So we're on the same road.
Honestly, like it worked out so well because we all just were like, let's just not do this and have another game night. And it ended up being so fun. But on it, it does. I love how you put about changing your expectations in that. And I feel like
Mm,
if we change from a mindset of expecting to a mindset of gratitude, it does make such a difference in our lives as mothers, as wives.
mm,
And I think it's also important to always have like open conversation with your husband too. Because I mean, I feel like it's kind of like assumed, at least in our kind of realm, because we are stay-at-home moms and stuff primarily,
mhm,
that like we're the ones with the kids and stuff. So I have to be very open with my husband and be like, listen, it's been a week. I really need like 2 hours to myself tonight. And he's always
mhm.
like very supportive and he's just like, you know what,
Yeah.
you need it, go for it. Go enjoy yourself. Um, and so that having that open communication is super vital to making sure that you are prioritizing that. So that way you don't find yourself burning out and stuff.
Mm.
You
But
have
you
some,
have to recognize that. You have to recognize I need this time. You have to ask for it,
yeah.
and then you have to do it.
Yep.
So doing all three things can sometimes be very difficult.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Okay. What kind of encouragement would you give to a new homeschool mom who's feeling very overwhelmed?
start with grace. I told you earlier that I always have grace for myself. If this doesn't work out, that's okay. Um, and be gentle. You might have expectations set for yourself, and maybe you don't meet them all, or maybe you exceed them. I don't know. But just have grace, especially in the starting period. Set realistic expectations. Start with just the basics. Um, when we do school, we just do language arts and math, our book work, and then everything else is interest based. So the kids talk about, oh, we heard there was a tornado in some state the other day, and we do a tornado deep dive. YouTube videos, books from the library, and that's kind of how we do it. Because I know I need like grace in this season. So yeah, so set realistic expectations and starting with just the basics is a great way to start. I mean, even math, bake a cake, or I don't know if anybody knows about the French yogurt cake, but that was kind of my first intro. There's a book called Bringing Up Bebe, like Bebe,
Okay.
and she talks about, she's an American woman, moved to France, raised her children, and every French child bakes. Like that's what they do. Every Saturday they learn to bake. And one of the first things they learn to bake is a French yogurt cake. So you can look it up, but you take like a container of yogurt, and the recipe is all like one container of yogurt, and then that container, it's like 3 yogurt containers of flour, 1 yogurt container of sugar. So that's like, oh, we do that all the time. That's like a big one on our list.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's fun.
And
So then next, focus on connections, connecting with your kids, finding a homeschool group for your kids to make connections. That's a really great place to start, is the connections. And then my next is like find support. And then lean into faith, give it to God, trust his plan for you and your family, and seek out his wisdom.
I'll be sure to link that book in the show notes too, because I think that that'd be a really cool resource. Now I'm gonna go get it because that sounds adorable.
Yeah, it's great for like new babies. She just talks about like the expectations are different in America and France, and it was good for me as a new mom. But I loved that French yogurt cake. It was such a sweet take home for it. So
Is it good? Does it taste good?
yeah, oh my God, it is the best cake. Yeah, and you can put anything in it, like blueberries or chocolate chips or whatever. So it tells you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm really excited to make this. Okay, so let's kind of jump into a little bit of faith conversation because I know we're very like-minded and, our God is at the center of our homes and our
Mhm.
so how has faith played a role in your homeschooling journey?
Well, it keeps us persevering on the hard days. It's a reminder for us. I'm constantly reminding myself that God gave me, my children, to steward, and He gave me to them. So I want to present my best self for them. So it definitely is a factor in how I handle myself. And then we get to practice faith daily together, which is also great. We get to pray over our meals together. When somebody's having a hard time, I'll say, hey, come on over here. Let's say a prayer and ask God for help through this difficult, whatever. Maybe they're fighting with siblings. Maybe they're not listening and obeying. So I get to do that. And that's really special to me. I told you about weaving moments into each day. Another thing is we're constantly getting outside. That's a big part of Wild and Free is just being wild and out in nature whenever possible. And there's so many benefits to that. But part of it is nature naturally brings wonder and faith. I mean, you look up at the trees, you look at the butterfly, all of those things. It naturally brings questions. It brings, I don't know, like this is like sense in your heart. And my children feel it too. I know that. So that's another way that we involve faith daily in our homeschooling adventures. And then lastly, this might be the best part is that I get to learn and grow with my kids. I have faith, but I wouldn't say that my like core faith education is strong, but I get to read those Bible stories alongside them and I get to learn alongside them. And when they ask me about something, I get to seek it out in the Bible and I get to answer them and I get to learn it too. And I think that's so special and just so incredible. I couldn't ask for anything better.
That is one of my absolute favorite parts of homeschooling. Like, just, I mean, faith, the normal lessons and everything. Like, I feel like I get like a do-over in my own education, kind of. Um,
Mhm.
and it's just so fun to learn beside them. And then also, it can be challenging too, because if something comes up that I don't know, like, all right, well, I guess I'm spending tonight doing research on this so I can teach this to her tomorrow.
Yep.
And it's just, it's so fun. And I love the ways that you do that. You incorporate faith and prayer and God and everything into your homeschool life. All right, Megan, it has been amazing having you on. I have a few last little bit of closing questions for you.
Sure.
If you could give one piece of advice to a mom who's considering homeschooling, what would it be?
I would say if it is on your heart, just try it. Just give it a try. Um, Bring your kids home and try it. You can always send them back to school. We've had wonderful moms in our community do that, and it has been such a blessing. They love their time at home. They love trialing that, learning. They grew through it, and then they ended up sending their kids back, and that is completely okay. And that was just a part of your journey, and there's nothing wrong with that. So give it a try. You never know.
Yes, no, I love that. How can moms get involved in, I know we kind of talked about this, but they have it on their website and stuff, but
Yeah. So
how,
you bewildandfree.org. If you have not read the Call of the Wild and Free book, then I strongly suggest starting there. If homeschooling is on your heart, or excuse me, or if a wild and free community is on your heart, you can go to that website. I talked about the map. You can search the map and see if there's groups local to you. And if there's not, then they told me that you could email them and you will be made aware whenever the leaders they open up for new leaders. There's a quick, I think it was like I don't even know if it was 2 hours, just teaching you about their core values. So whenever you lead your group, you know where you're going. And that's the thing about Wild and Free is each group is very independent. What our group does could be totally different than what another group does, aside from the core values of Wild and Free. But that's what I love. Like our group is very, like you mentioned earlier, very laid back. And I always say, this is not meant to be stressful for anyone. This is supposed to benefit us, and it's supposed to serve the moms and the kids in the group. And so we do very much wild and free. Like we meet up or just hiking, playground meetups. We do field trips. But for the most part, everything's as casual as can be. But different, I know other groups that do creative writing groups in their group, and they do Lego groups in their group. So there can be as much or as little structure as you want. It's to serve you. So
I love that. I did not know about like that. That's really cool having like the niched little clubs and groups. And I honestly, I feel like I could see our group doing some of that as our kids get older too.
Me too. Well, my son loves to run with his dad. My oldest, he's 8. He loves to go on runs with his dad, and he talks to me about it all the time. And I've told him, like, as you and your friends get older, we can meet early before COA or before Wild and Free, and you could start a running club. And he thinks that's so cool. And I always tell moms that, like, you touched base about our meal train group, or our meal train mom earlier, and that has been so amazing too. Sorry, not to like get away from closing, but finding moms that have something on their heart and then letting them seek that out has been amazing. Mimi, our dear friend, she has such a gift for nourishing people and feeding people, and it is such it's on her heart, and she does it just in the best way possible. And so setting up those meal trains has been so amazing. I think we welcome like 6 babies within a year or maybe a year and a half. Our group is only 2 years old. And we have done so many meal trains for that, extended sickness. I have another mom who community service was on her heart, and she reached out to me. So now we do regular community service events that are so much fun. So that's another just great part of the group is utilizing moms and what God has put on their heart.
I love that. So I never thought about it that way. Like I just knew it was part of our group, and I loved that those moms did it, but I didn't think about it. And see, this is just where it comes back to like you have just created this amazing community within that. And I will be sure for anyone interested, I will link the Wild and Free book in the show notes. I'll link the website, all the things that you guys can find local communities, or if you want to create one, and any information. But with that being said, I do have a lot of local listeners as well and stuff too. So Megan, where can people connect with you to learn more, find encouragement to find encouragement in their own homeschooling journeys? And then if they want to join our local Wild and Free group too.
So I'm always an open book. I'm not like a homeschooling influencer or anything, but you can find me at Step Farm on Instagram. I love chatting. I love connecting with other moms. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me there. Otherwise, we do have a Facebook page, so you can go onto Facebook and search. I think we're like Wild and Free Saxonburg, PA, and we can come up. You can just shoot me a message there, or you can find us on the map on the Wild and Free page.
Love it. Megan, thank you for being on. It has been such a pleasure having you on the show. And I'm excited to hear from moms about their own homeschooling journeys and what they thought of this, and reading the book, because truly the book is just absolutely life-changing with homeschooling. So thank you, Megan, for being on. And for everyone who's listened today, if you liked what you heard, I will link everything in the show notes that you need, all the resources, the contact info for Megan. And if you liked what you heard, please rate the show, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Tag Megan and I over on Instagram if you share the show into your stories. And just thanks for being a part of it. Well, until next time, God bless.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you loved what you heard today, please give the show a rating, share it to your Instagram, and be sure to tag me. This will help the show reach more moms just like you. If you're curious about any of my resources, be sure to click the link in the show notes and feel free to email me at jillhughes@myrrhbearingmillennial.com. That's all for now, and we'll chat again soon. God bless.